Hi everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to the WWE 2K15 Universe Mode. And this, which will be the next episode of Combat Zone Wrestling. An important episode this one, because we're finally 4 weeks away from our next pay-per-view, which means our rivalries have finally kicked in. So we'll have a quick look at those in a second, but let's have a quick look at the card we've got set for you. We're going to have a new team teaming together here, Drake Younger and Sami Callihan, also known as Solomon Crowe. This is one that's been suggested by Jay in the comments before. We did have them feuding in the first month, but now we're going to see them team together to take on the Nasty Boys. We're going to see the current CZW Wired Champion Gerry Lynn take on Biff Busick. Nick Mondo is going to take on Jimmy Havoc in an Extreme Rules match. Tommy Dreamer takes on Terry Funk in an Extreme Rules match. And our main event will be Dean Ambrose taking on one half of the Tag Team Champions, Devon Dudley. So let's get straight into our first match. So, as I said, our first match is going to be Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs. The Nasty Boys taking on Drake Younger and Sami Callihan. And here we go. We're going to start off with Jerry Saggs and Drake Younger in the ring. So, as I said, this is going to be the first time we see... Well, no, this is not the first time we've seen them, actually. We saw Drake Younger and Sami Callihan tag together recently as part of the Global Force Wrestling's Best of the Super Juniors week. They took on Davey Richards and Kyle O'Reilly, I think, as Team Ring of Honor versus Team CZW there. It worked together quite well. Remember, we have had Drake Younger and Sami Callihan feud here in our first month for Combat Zone Wrestling, so to see them team together now really brings a different level to it. But with the recent breakup of Terry Funk and Tommy Dreamer, it's great to have another team here in this universe mode. As I've said in a couple of my recent videos, I will be doing a quick sort of shifty round on the rosters this weekend. Try and find where we can just strengthen all the rosters as much as possible. Going to get some fresh blood in as well. I will be doing, I think the very next episode on this playlist will probably be the update of what I've done with the roster. So be sure to check that out. It'll only be a quick little video, probably a couple of minutes long, just showing you who is on the roster, the tag teams we've got. And that'll be it basically, and then we'll get straight into next month. That's my phone ringing, so I'll just cancel that. Very embarrassing, my phone's still on loud. Yes, also remember we do have in 4 weeks time now, we're going to have the Combat Zone Wrestling Best of the Best pay-per-view. It's going to take place over either 2 or 3 days, not entirely decided yet how I'm going to format it. But I'm thinking, in case you haven't seen Global Force Wrestling, Drake Younger was crowned as the best of the Super Juniors, and he will get a shot now at Kenny Omega's championship. So I'm thinking maybe at the best of the best pay-per-view, Younger could get his chance. And sorry, I'm talking over here, and Sami Callihan's just defeated Jerry Saggs in a very, very quick match, I must say. I was still chatting crap. And yeah, Sami Callihan picks up the victory. It's a great start as a tag team for these two guys. Not very good for the Nasty Boys. To tell the truth, I'm not even sure what finished the match. But either way, as I said, a great start as a tag team for these two guys. They could go from strength to strength here. The Dudley Boys, after defeating the Wyatt family a few weeks back for them championships, have been going strength from strength, defended them belts last week against RVD and Sabu. So, yeah, a few victories here for Callihan and Younger could really put them in a position to maybe go for that championship. And here we go into our second match of the evening. It will be Biff Busick taking on the current CZW Wired Champion, Gerry Lynn. And we are underway. Biff Busick and the, as I said, the current Wired Champion, Gerry Lynn. Lynn's done well with that belt. Surprisingly defended it in a 4-way ladder match at the previous pay-per-view, which was the Tournament of Death. Defended it against RVD, Sabu and Ricochet. So yeah, fantastic for him. Of course, we know now we've got the Best of the Best pay-per-view coming up in 4 weeks' time. So maybe we can start looking to who's going to take on Gerry Lynn for that belt. And sorry, as I was just going on about in the last match before Sami Callihan cut me off by winning the match. As I was saying, Drake Younger was crowned as the best of the Super Juniors a couple of weeks back now in the Global Force Wrestling brand. Because he won that competition, he is due a Junior Heavyweight Championship match now. So I'm thinking, instead of waiting for the next Global Force Wrestling pay-per-view, I'm thinking that Kenny Omega could come over and give Drake Younger that title shot at the best of the best pay-per-view, which will take place in 4 weeks' time, as I've said. It might not be 4 weeks' time, because I've got a few days off work now, so at the longest it'll be 4 weeks' time. I'm hoping to get quite a lot uploaded this weekend. I'm going to push myself, and might be difficult, but I want to get most of next month's uploaded as well this weekend. But yeah, that'll be a great way to... I like to overlap the rosters, especially when we have these pay-per-views that are going to take over a few days. I'm thinking Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks to come across as well. The Young Bucks can have a couple of matches over the weekend. And obviously we'll have other guys coming across as well. We'll borrow some guys from Ring of Honor and Global Force for that best of the best tournament. Obviously we're going to have our feuds, which we'll start to see this evening. Who have we got set up for you? I'm sure I can't actually remember who's been set up. I set them up 4 weeks ago and they've only just kicked in, so I can't actually remember. I think we've got, in the next match, it's Nick Mondo versus Jimmy Havoc. We've also got, of course we know we've got Terry Funk and Tommy Dreamer. That all came from a couple of weeks back in the Tag Team #1 Contenders match, where Tommy Dreamer actually turned on Funk partway through the match, attacked him, then left him to face RVD and Sabu on his own, which was, of course, always going to be a difficult situation for Terry Funk. Somebody we haven't seen a lot in this Universe mode of recent is Cactus Jack as well. As I said, I will be doing a cleanup of these rosters over the weekend, so maybe Cactus Jack is someone that might disappear out for a few months. Obviously, we've got Mankind in Attitude Era anyway, so we can always borrow Mankind for Combat Zone Wrestling if needed. And a big drop kick to the side of the head by Gerry Lynn on Biff Busick. Biff only debuted himself 4 weeks back at the at the Tournament of Death pay-per-view. Debuted on night 2, actually having a championship match against Dean Ambrose. He was defeated, unfortunately for him. But I still fancy Biff Busick to be involved somewhere. He's very much a top-level star on this card. We haven't seen Ricochet for a few weeks as well. Of course, Ricochet will be one of the guys involved in the best of the best. You can't not have him involved. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best wrestler in the world. In my opinion, really. Neckbreaker there by Biff Busick, and almost like a stunned version as well. Busick with this springboard splash. Gerry Lynn avoids it. There's the dropkick by Gerry Lynn. Oh, great 450, and takes him down as like just sitting on his chest. I have no idea what that's called, but it sounded a bit rude, didn't it, really? Gerry Lynn locking in the submission now, just pulling the arm of Busick back behind the calf of Lynn. Now Busick with that snapmare. Remember, Gerry Lynn won that belt off of RVD pretty early on, as Busick with that half and half suplex. And that could be all. Rolls Gerry Lynn over. 1, 2, and no, Gerry Lynn kicks out. I was about to say, and that's free, but obviously not in this case. Russian leg sweep by Gerry Lynn. Brings Busick back to his feet, and now Lynn has Busick up in a power driver. And there he goes down. Could the Wired Champion pick up a victory here over Biff Busick? Goes to the pin. 1. Only a 1 count. These two guys really showing some toughness and resilience. Busick going for a pin of his own. And only a 1 count. Lynn kicks out. Both these guys kicking out to each other's finishing maneuvers here. Gerry Lynn with that crossbody in the corner. Gets around the back of Busick, and there's the backstabber. Gerry Lynn makes his way to the outside and goes to that springboard again. Doesn't catch it all, but he's dazed Busick there. But Busick is back together now. Locks in that head scissors submission hold on Gerry Lynn. Will Lynn survive this, or will he have to tap out? Busick releases. Done enough damage, he believes. Can he follow up? No, Gerry Lynn takes control, but Busick now whips Gerry Lynn. Gerry Lynn comes back there with a jawbreaker. Busick back to his feet, and Lynn tilt-a-whirl neckbreaker. Goes to the pin. 1, 2, and again, so close to a 3 count for Gerry Lynn. Busick reversing with that back elbow. Lynn throws Busick towards the ropes, and Busick comes back with a big spear. Then the senton. Rolls Lynn over, going to go for another submission. Just pushing the knee into the lower back and wrenching back on the neck. Very, very painful position for Gerry Lynn to be in. Busick again releasing the hold. Thinks he's done enough damage, but evidently not. As Gerry Lynn whips him towards them far ropes, so Busick catches Lynn with a boot to the stomach. Now throws Lynn into this corner. Spins him round. And Lynn again reversing. I think Biff Busick is a guy who's actually had a couple of trials for WWE recently. I know this might come as a surprise to some of you, but Biff Busick is very good friends with Sasha Banks because they work the same indie scene. So hopefully Busick gets the opportunity at some point. I love the idea of one night of our pay-per-view as well. There's one match that I really loved in PWG, and I think it was Busick versus Brian Cage versus Uhaa Nation versus Tommaso Ciampa, Fatal 4-Way. As Busick taps out there to the submission by Gerry Lynn. Every time I start to talk random stuff, the match seems to finish. That was the power driver early on by Gerry Lynn. I thought the match was finished there and then. Another pin here by Lynn, again close to the 3. Biff Busick maybe took a bit too long in that situation, hitting the neck breaker on Gerry Lynn. But Lynn catches Busick in that submission hold, just pushing the knee into the centre of the back and wrenching back on the neck. And Busick has no choice but to tap out to the Combat Zone Wrestling Wired Champion. And that was a fantastic match between these two. Lynn still staying undefeated for a very long time in this Universe mode. As I said, won that Wired Championship about 2 or 3 weeks into the Universe mode. He's held it ever since. That must be about 10 weeks now. And our third match this evening is going to be an Extreme Rules match between Sick Nick Mondo and Jimmy Havoc. And here we go with these two deathmatch specialists. Some of you might not know who these two guys are. We have Nick Mondo, who currently wrestles for Combat Zone Wrestling. As I said, a bit of a deathmatch specialist. And the other guy here is Jimmy Havoc. I know quite a lot of my viewers, looking at my demographics, are not from the UK. I've got a lot of American and Mexican, and there's even one Nigerian guy watching my videos. But either way, Jimmy Havoc is a British wrestler. Great at deathmatch wrestling, but also fantastic at just in-ring ability as well. Currently holding a lot of the championships up and down the UK. So he's by no means a pushover. Great wrestler, and I'm glad to be able to give him the chance here in the Universe mode. Chop across the chest there by Jimmy Havoc there by Sick Nick Mondo. So remember, this is an Extreme Rules match. No countouts, no disqualifications, but all pinfalls and submissions must take place in the ring. As Nick Mondo with that lovely submission move, using the ropes to his advantage. But Havoc now throwing Nick Mondo right into the corner. And a big back kick to the head by Mondo and Havoc, and another kick. Mondo showing some of his Japanese influences with those kicks. And I think I said in one of the other videos, you might need to double check my facts on this, but I'm pretty sure Nick Mondo is the younger brother of Drew Gulak as well. So Drew Gulak, someone I'm really hoping I can get a hold of in the, like I said earlier, I'm going to try and mix up the rosters a little bit. So to get Drew Gulak would be a great addition to this Combat Zone roster. I know when I first started this Combat Zone wrestling roster, there wasn't a lot of Combat Zone guys actually on it. It's mainly because there's not a lot on the community creations. I must admit, I've been trying to find as many as I can, just to try and make it as authentic as possible. But it is more, it's a combination really. I've got Combat Zone Wrestling as the name, but this is just a place for all the best hardcore wrestlers in the world to sort of hang out really. As Mondo grabs himself a trash can, Jimmy Havoc is under the opposite side of the ring and he has himself a chair. Havoc dropping the chair. Maybe he should have kept a hold of it though, as Nick Mondo just goes at Havoc with his trash can. And you see the dents develop in that trash can as well. Havoc now with this belly to belly slam on the outside. Mondo's head was very, very close to that trash can. And there's a DDT by Jimmy Havoc on the outside as well. Brings Mondo back to his feet. Mondo throws Havoc into the ring, just trying to gain some space. And an elbow to the face by Mondo as well. Makes his way back onto the apron. Comes back into the ring and catches Jimmy Havoc with that big right hook. And just as Havoc comes out to meet him, Mondo gets a hold of the chair. And I think Havoc's been busted open. I'm not surprised as Mondo, you see the blood on the chair there as well. Mondo really went at him with that chair. But Havoc is still back up, showing his resilience. As I said, he's a deathmatch specialist. A chair to the head is not going to affect him too much. Mondo throws Havoc into the ring. And as I said, this is going to be one of our feuds leading up to the best of the best pay-per-view. However, the way this feud is going to go, it might be worth, in the long run, culminating this feud at best of the best with whoever's the Ultraviolent Underground champion at the time. Triple threat for the belt sounds fantastic to me. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, we have that pay-per-view in, it'll be 3 weeks tomorrow it is. So remember, actually, tomorrow, just a quick plug, we will be doing the WWE Current Day Rosters Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Got a fantastic card put together there. We've got 6 guys in the Money in the Bank that are all great up-and-coming stars, and none of them have been WWE champion in real life. So it's going to give us the opportunity to get ahead of the trend there. Next week we've got our Retro Rosters SummerSlam. Then we're going to have the Attitude Era SummerSlam, and then we have Combat Zone Wrestling's Best of the Best. As I say, can be done over 2 or 3 nights, depending on how I feel. As Havoc just catches Mondo and hits him with that move. Not sure what that's called, but 1, 2, and no. Nick Mondo kicks out. Nick Mondo kicking out and gets Havoc up on his shoulders. Death Valley Driver. The DVD. Could that be all? 1, 2, and no, that's only a 2 count as well. What's going on with this Combat Zone Wrestling roster this evening? We saw Gerry, Lynn and Biff Busick kicking out of each other's finishes in the last match. And now in this match, these 2 guys as well. Jimmy Havoc is still bleeding quite strongly from the head. The longer this match goes on, the weaker he's going to become, losing that much blood. Elbow to the face now by Mondo. Mondo with a tilt-a-whirl neckbreaker. Goes back outside the ring and grabs that chair. It was a chair that did the damage to Havoc earlier on. And it's another chair shot here, which looks like it could have finished Havoc off. Mondo sets that chair up in the corner and only a 1 count. Havoc hit that chair hard. But again, he's back up after the 1 count. I'll tell you what, it's feuds like this that really make me wish that WWE 2K15 had a barbed wire match. It really does. Again, Havoc being rolled over, for the pin. Only a 2 count. Mondo throwing Havoc into that corner. Tries to follow it up. Mondo now throwing Havoc into that corner. I wonder how long it's going to be before Mondo throws Havoc into the corner with the chair. Tilt-a-whirl DDT. And again, Mondo going outside the ring. What's he looking for now? How much more damage can be done between these two guys? Havoc joining Mondo on the outside as Mondo pulls a ladder out. And Havoc eats that ladder for breakfast. Havoc has taken such a beating here from Nick Mondo, but still manages to carry on. Now Havoc with that tornado, tilt-a-whirl, terraforming, terrapin, DDT. So I'm just naming loads of words that begin with T now. And again, Mondo picks Havoc up for that Death Valley driver onto the ladder. The only problem with that is now is that the damage being done on the outside of the ring. Pinfalls only count inside the ring, and now Havoc fighting back on Mondo. Boot to the stomach again there by Mondo. Trying to gain control. And again now Havoc. That back elbow, these two guys just trading blows on the outside now. I'm surprised this match has gone so long. Well, I'm showing we're up to 25 minutes on this video so far, and we're only on our 3rd match. We've got 2 matches left after this. Don't forget, we are going to have Terry Funk versus Tommy Dreamer next, as Funk looks to continue, well, Funk looks to get some retribution on the Tommy Dreamer after walking out on him a couple of weeks back in that Tag Team #1 Contenders match. We're also going to have Dean Ambrose taking on the one half of the current Tag Team Champions, Devon Dudley, in our main event this evening. As Nick Mondo now has a sledgehammer. Havoc knocks it out of his hand and then gets hit with that tornado DDT. Havoc now throwing Mondo, and Mondo tripped up on that trash can and hit his head on the announce table. And now Jimmy Havoc using that trash can as a weapon. Just taking out Mondo now. These two guys have really put together a fantastic Extreme Rules match here for us. And I'm really starting to think that our very next Ultra Violent Underground champion is going to be in this match. Mondo picks Havoc up and sits him down in the Falcon Arrow. And now a tilt-a-whirl DDT on the outside as well. Remember, this match can only finish inside the ring, so these two guys need to get back in there as Havoc throws Mondo in. Hits him with the elbow to the face. But now here comes Mondo back out to join Havoc. Havoc catches the leg of Mondo and hits him with that big clothesline. Mondo throwing Havoc against that announce table. These two guys fighting a lot around this announce table now. Tornado DDT by Havoc. And now just strikes to the side of the head of Mondo. Mondo throwing Havoc against that announce table and now just bashing his head off of the table as well. Neck breaker by Mondo on the outside. Brings Havoc back to his feet, spins him round. What's he got planned here? Picks Havoc up in his own move and drops him face first onto the announce table, which breaks in the process. But now Havoc is back up again. Throws Mondo into the ring, and how is Havoc still going? He got busted open very early in this match. He's been put through the announce table with his own finishing maneuver. But he's still back up on his feet and he's still fighting against Nick Mondo. There's Nick with that shoulder block. Going for the pin. 1, 2, and 3. The overall damage taken by Jimmy Havoc throughout this match finally catches up with him. And Nick Mondo is victorious. Here's that chair shot that busted Havoc open. Came out of nowhere. He slid out the ring, and as he turned around to face Mondo, just took it straight in the face. Is that tilt-a-whirl neckbreaker? And here he is, just lifting Havoc up in his own finisher maneuver and landing him face and chest first onto that announce table, which is enough to break it. Then as they come back into the ring, Mondo just finishes Havoc off and gets the 3 count. We have had a hell of a match here between these two. A hell of a match. And I sincerely hope this is not the last we're going to see these two in the ring. As I said, I think we can push this all the way through to best of the best. And I'm starting to think that if we add Masada to this little feud, then we could have a fantastic Ultra Underground Championship match in the future. And match number 4 this evening will be Tommy Dreamer taking on Terry Funk in an Extreme Rules match. And here we go. Like I've said earlier, this match has really come from the last couple of weeks when Terry Funk and Tommy Dreamer, who were a tag team together as the Funky Dreams, they took on RVD and Sabu in a #1 contenders match for the tag team championships. However, partway through that match, Tommy Dreamer came into the ring, turned on Terry Funk, attacked him and left him to face RVD and Sabu on his own. We saw these two collide last week and it was Tommy Dreamer who came out the quite convincing victor. So now Terry Funk is really looking to try and get his own back over Dreamer. The knee to the face by Dreamer on Funk. Now Funk throwing Dreamer into this corner. Remember, this again is an Extreme Rules match, so no countouts, no disqualifications, but pinfalls and submissions must take place within the confines of the ring. As Dreamer straight out looking for a weapon already, but Funk hits him with that baseball slide. But Dreamer straight back up and takes Funk out with that clothesline. And Funk there with a knee to the face. These two guys trading blows, nobody really taking control as yet. As Funk was looking for a weapon on the outside, but Dreamer catches him with that drop kick. Tell you what, I would love for someone like Terry Funk to actually be a standard wrestler on the WWE 2K15 game. The only thing is every single year his core is so good, it must be quite an easy one to make, so it's not too much of a problem to get a hold of. Tommy Dreamer is somebody that I could see possibly being on the new game. We know he likes to. We know he's had a few appearances on WWE over the last couple of years, and with them having 120 guys on the roster, you're looking for guys that WWE is still in good sort of good communications with, shall we say. The only thing that might hold Tommy Dreamer back is the fact that he does also appear on TNA, as well as obviously run his own company as well. So it might be a conflict of interests. But I'm assuming the likes of Brian Kendrick and Rhino will definitely be on 2K16. Obviously Punk and Del Rio and Rey Mysterio and guys like that I think will all be missing. Because once you leave the WWE under questionable circumstances, that's it, you don't exist anymore. As Terry Funk looks like he's busted open as Dreamer hits him with that kendo stick, and he is busted open. Pretty bad, and Dreamer just following up with another strike with a kendo stick. Dreamer brings Funk back up. One thing I will have to start being a bit more careful with when I create these feuds is making sure I've got the heel and the face correct, because that will be really that defines the actual cutscenes. So I've got to make sure I start doing that. Obviously, in this one, Dreamer would be the heel, Funk would be the face, as Dreamer turned on Funk in that tag team match. It's a shame because these are one of my one of my better tag teams, really. As I said, we haven't got a lot of tag teams in Combat Zone Wrestling, so to lose one in that circumstance was a bit frustrating. I'm not quite sure how it happened, because I have got tag team formation and breakup switched off. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how or why that happened, but we'll run with it. We've got a good feud out of it, so we'll run with it. As Dreamer has Funk up against that barrier and spears him through. Tommy Dreamer spearing Terry Funk through that corner barricade. That's what we like to see. And now Dreamer with a gut wrench on the outside as well. Remember, he needs to get Funk in the ring if he wants to pin him. Dreamer with a punches to the face, and Funk is really busted open. He's bleeding pretty badly. Back elbow by Funk on Dreamer. Dreamer now with the abdominal stretch. As there appears to be a young man in my front garden. Why is there a young man in my front garden? He's gone now. Either way, sorry I got a bit distracted there. Funk now throwing Dreamer back into the ring. And Funk really needs to get this match over and done with as soon as possible. As I said in the last match, the longer the match goes on, the more blood you lose, the weaker you become. Funk now sliding out the ring, grabs a hold of that kendo stick that busted him open earlier in the match, and maybe that was a bad idea as Dreamer takes the kendo stick off of him. Dreamer throws the kendo stick to the ground though. Still catches Funk with that jawbreaker. Going for the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Funk kicks out. But Dreamer, there's his DDT onto the kendo stick, and this has got to be all surely 1, 2, and 3. It is, and just look how much blood is on Funk's head now. After taking that DDT onto the kendo stick. This is the part that just busted Funk open. So we're not going to see a replay of him going through the corner there, evidently. This was only for a 2 count. But then it was as soon as Funk got up, Dreamer catches him with that finishing DDT he likes to use straight on top of the kendo stick. As you see the blood on Funk's head. Dreamer picks up another victory. It's 2 in 2 weeks now against Terry Funk. Really showing that he was the strongest member of that tag team. Just here's a lot of blood on Funk. I know his head's not the strongest. It's a bit like Ric Flair's head. You just look at it and it just bursts open. And now it's time for our main event here this evening as the Combat Zone Wrestling Champion Dean Ambrose takes on one half of the Combat Zone Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Devon Dudley. And here we go. You'd fancy Dean Ambrose as the favourite in this match, of course being the Combat Zone Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. But you can't write off Devon, but Devon is more renowned from being a tag team competitor. Obviously, without his brother Bubba Ray here, he's left to his own devices. Will that be a problem for Devon? He's not very experienced in singles competition. Great sort of corkscrew suplex by Dean Ambrose. Of course, Dean Ambrose did used to wrestle for Combat Zone Wrestling. For those of you who don't know, he was under the name of John Moxley. And you'd be surprised to know he did quite a lot of deathmatch wrestling himself. I think that's the reason why he always wears either a t-shirt or the waistcoat he used to wear as the Shield. Because, because all the scars on his back. It's one of the main reasons. I'm sure I remember reading on Twitter when he first joined the WWE that he was very embarrassed going into his first physical session and trying to explain barbed wire scars to the WWE physicians. Devon throwing Ambrose over that top rope. Must admit, this has been a much longer episode than Combat Zone Wrestling than we normally get. That's mainly because we've had a couple of fantastic matches in the middle. And we did see Jimmy Havoc take on Sick Nick Mondo. That was an incredible and a very long match, that was. And we also saw in our last match Tommy Dreamer versus Terry Funk in Extreme Rules. It's been a great show here. Remember, as I said, the very next video in this playlist will more than likely be the roster update. I'm going to try and download a few new guys to use in this universe mode. Try and freshen it up a little bit. I have got all 100 cores being used, but well, I've got all 100 cores being taken up, but whether they're being used is a different story. So we'll get rid of a few of the guys that are not currently being used. Just try and freshen all the rosters up a little bit. Obviously, it will be, after we complete Money in the Bank tomorrow, this will be exactly 3 months into our universe mode. And I think Money in the Bank, no, this episode. This episode of Combat Zone Wrestling is my 100th video as well. That shocked me. I only just realised that a few minutes ago when I was looking. I've got 2 laptops on the go at the moment. I'm recording on this one and I'm editing and uploading on the other one. And I just realised on my YouTube that I've uploaded 99 videos. So this will be number 100, and it's certainly been an episode worthy of the title. Of course, as I've said, we have got the best of the best pay-per-view coming up in 3 weeks' time. Well, it'll probably be less than 3 weeks. Like I said, I'm going to do a lot of recording over the next few days, but at the latest, it'll be 3 weeks' time, as I'm uploading a video every single day at the moment. We haven't got anyone penned in at the moment to take on Dean Ambrose for that Combat Zone Wrestling Championship. But of course, all that can change. We've still got 4 weeks worth of hardcore television here. And I'm sure somebody will come to the forefront. But like I say, if we do a 2 or 3 day competition, then maybe Ambrose will defend his belt maybe twice. Maybe if we're being horrible, 3 times. Remember, he did defend it twice at the Tournament of Death pay-per-view, defeating Bray Wyatt on night 1, then defeating Biff Busick on night 2 as well. So he's not a stranger to very, very close title defences. As Ambrose now pulling Devon across to that rope, but Devon reversing. Ambrose with the boot to the stomach, and then the Ace Crusher as well. And Ambrose is signalling here for the end by the looks of it. He picks Devon up and he's going to hit him with a power driver. Not one we see very often from Ambrose here in the universe mode. However, it's effective, and Dean Ambrose defeats Devon Dudley here in our main event of hardcore television. That was the Ace Crusher by Dean Ambrose. And the power driver as well. So Dean Ambrose is victorious here in this champion versus champion match. Of course, Dean Ambrose, the world champion here in the Combat Zone Wrestling. He took on Devon Dudley, one half of the tag team champions. So that has been the end of this episode of Combat Zone Wrestling's Hardcore Television. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Like I said, tomorrow we are going to be uploading Money in the Bank, so be sure to check that out. That will be on the WWE Current Day Rosters playlist. Yeah, you can find the link to that in the description below. But thank you very much for watching. I've been Shabba Gamer, and goodbye.